with us. Coach, just give us your general thoughts of the win.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a really unselfish game out of our group. 25 assists on 34 made field goals was good. I thought we did a good job. I've been talking about it a lot lately. I think you guys know we're trying to really try to keep teams off the foul line. I thought for the most part we did that for the majority of that game. So, try and forced them to try to beat us from three for most of the game. So I think execution-wise, there was some good takeaways.
Feels like Dallin Hall's getting a little more comfortable the more run he's getting. Is that what you saw tonight?
It was, yeah. And so, even missing a couple of bunnies, to still stay aggressive and it was good to just see him, just see the ball go through the net, and make really good reads. I thought in pick and roll, that was probably his best game of the year so far in terms of making pick and roll reads. What was it? So, 7 assists, no turnovers, so that was good to see.
When we talked to you earlier in the week, you talked about the efficiency numbers for Cannon. You talked about catch and shoot in particular. Did he perform more to the level you expected, what you've been kind of coaching him up on?
Yeah, well, one of the things I love about Cannon is he's extremely coachable. If we lock in on something, him and I, he really tries to go do what I ask. And so as a coach, that's really all you can ask for. So, I told him the night after the game, I thought he took the right shots for me and really just all of our players, but him in particular. And it's not really about making and missing shots. It's about just taking the right ones. And that's going to serve him well and us in terms of the efficiency piece. And I thought he was an A+ tonight in that category.
How would you evaluate things now? The non-conference is over. You're going to have a little bit of break here before the Big 12 pick, but how do you evaluate your team at this point in the season?
I think everyone's had a good moment, all the way down the line. I think the challenge for me is, when we have a full slate of guys, is just that, making sure that I'm, subbing it the right way, making sure we got the right groups of players out there, who plays well with who, and then how does that all kind of coexist. So that's the challenge for me. But I'm extremely confident, going into conference play of all the things we've been able to, have to, go through when you play different teams and different game plans and learning things against teams that do different things. And so I think we're feeling pretty confident about, what we sort of have in our system, and then there'll be more things as we go through the rest of the year that we'll need to add for sure.
13 minutes for Brody Kozlowski in the second half. What was the thought behind getting him some significant run there?
Yeah, no, he's been a guy who's been really consistent in practice. He does everything we ask. He's always in the right spot. I think his legs are kind of finally getting under him. He had an injury early on in the summer and even after that too. So I think he's starting to get his legs under him, shooting the ball, much better in practice. And so I just thought he deserved a little run out there, and he clearly answered the call.
After the Wyoming game, you talked about Moet Mag and what he showed in that game. You said he's kind of been cast in a tough spot here. Do you follow up that performance with this performance, kind of how you wanted him to follow it up?
Yeah, I think he's a guy who's going to, bring to the table, he knows what he does, essentially, right? He knows where his strengths lie, and I thought he played to those strengths for the most part tonight. I think with him, it's on given nights with matchups. I think that's where he'll really be able to shine. But, yeah, I was happy with how he played tonight.
Do you feel like you learned anything about yourself as a coach through your first run through non-conference play? Non-conference isn't a thing that exists in the NBA, so I guess it's probably kind of the start of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I probably learned more than the players. I'm extremely critical of what we do, and I always ask myself, are we on the right path? That was something I would ask myself a lot in the NBA, and we do a lot of analytical sort of check-ins to make sure we are on the right path. I think playing, some of the teams we had in that stretch with the, Providence, Ole Miss, and NC State, I learned a lot there. And was able to kind of take some of those lessons and put them into play against, Fresno, Wyoming, and these guys as well. And so, yeah, absolutely. And that's why I made the comment about, in hindsight, I wish there would have been a few more of those kind of power teams we could have played to learn even more. So, yeah, I learned a ton, and, we'll continue to do so as the schedule gets harder.
How are you going to handle things with 11 days off now? Are you going to do more inter-squad scrimmaging to keep you guys engaged, or what's the plan?
Yeah, the way that the schedule fell, with Christmas, right, and in a perfect world, this game was on like the 21st or 22nd, you know, so it's hard to do much other than, you know, guys are going on break, you know, and so we'll be back at it right after day after Christmas, and you know, we have found, I think, a bit of a rhythm is when we do have these multiple practice days in a row, and you know, it'll allow us to really get ready for you know, that first conference game.
Wanted to ask you about Deem Bob. Has he started practicing, or what's the timeline to kind of start to work him in and just give him some chances to practice?
Yeah, so he has not yet. He had some stuff he had to, you know, medical and different things he had to kind of, you know, check boxes with. But yeah, he'll be on the floor over the break, and then he'll be practicing with us, you know, on that first day back. Excited to add him. You know, he'll be a big time athlete, so we'll have our practices will automatically have a different look to him. You know, with that, you know, his size and athleticism. So I think it'll really. I mean, our practices have been tremendous. I think that is a byproduct of some of the depth that we have. Like every day in practice is really competitive, and I think he'll add to that.
Just to follow up on that, you know, this was your first team that you built and assembled with roster construction. This is kind of big picture, but did it go smoother than you expected? Like with the depth that this team has and how so many guys can contribute on a given night, has it been a smoother process than you thought building out teams?
I mean, it's something I've done a lot just over my career, especially early on, like when I was in the G League for many years. You know, that's something you do pretty much daily, anyway you used to in that league, because your roster was different every day. And so a lot of experience there. You know, Will brought a lot of experience from a roster construction standpoint, you know, and then Burgess and Dunson as well, and Linehan. So did it go smoother? I mean, we were so far behind when I got the job in terms of the portal. It had been open, this, that, the other. So, man, we were just working around the clock to just get the best players we could get. And we're fortunate with some things that, you know, we got to the finish line and you know, feel good about the stuff we were able to get done in a short amount of time.
2 more questions.
How much time has the staff spent on scouting ahead for Big 12 play?
Yeah, I mean, I got quite a bit. Yeah, I mean, we kind of break things up with all the assistants on the scouts and so forth. So, they're dialed in with it. I'm pretty dialed in with it. You know, I went through a stretch a couple weeks ago where I was just watching games nonstop, and so we'll certainly learn quite a bit over the break. I'll have time to really study it, but that's the fun part for me is the game planning and you know, figuring out where you can you know, gain some advantages, and we'll be locked and loaded.
Last question.
Were these moments where you get a little bit of a break and actually at Christmas? I know you pointed out the Wyoming game. This is probably the first time in years that you've experienced this. Was this kind of one of the reasons why you did want to come from the NBA to college ranks to have these chances to spend a little more time with your family? Yeah, I mean, it's certainly a nice bonus. I think it's not necessarily that as so much as just like the day-to-day. You know, I'm actually way busier doing this. I just am not on the road 24/7, so that's been nice. But yeah, definitely not complaining about you know, 4 or 5 days off during the holiday. I was saying similar. I think the last time I had this many days off on Christmas was like literally when I was in college. So and I'm getting old now, so that was a long time ago. So it'll certainly be a nice you know, a nice little change of pace for us. Yeah, and I hope all you guys have a great holiday as well.
Thanks,
Appreciate it, guys. Yeah.